Before watching this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell to stay up to date with my uploads.
What's up guys, and welcome to my custom tactics and instructions video. I know it's been a long time coming. I've been delaying it for quite some time, but it's finally here now. And that's the most important thing, right? So you can see in the background here, my team that we are using for this upcoming weekend league. We purchased 97 David De Gea and also Inform Valencia. We did implement the 89 Pogba from our monthly rewards. He's okay. I played a few games with him. I'm not the biggest fan, so I'll most likely change him next weekend when we gather more coins. Maybe to a Mateus or somebody like that, of that caliber. I might do the Prime Mateus SBC. I'm not really sure yet. I could do Petit as well, but we'll just see what happens over this coming weekend. So in this video, I'm going to show you my top 5 formations as well as the custom tactics and instructions associated with them, because I do in fact use different ones based upon the formation I am playing and the style of FIFA I want to play. Before we get into that though, I want to show you guys a way we can get a brief explanation of what custom tactics actually mean in game. As you can see, we're not an Ultimate Team anymore. We're on the customization section on FIFA 18 itself, and we're on the Arsenal team sheet. Now I'm just going to run through quickly with the custom tactics here what they mean, just a brief explanation. And you can do this on Ultimate Team if you go in-game. However, of course, you're restricted with time if you play online. I'm not really sure if you can do it on single player. I don't really play single player on Ultimate Team if I'm honest. But I'm just going to do it on the team sheet section off of Ultimate Team just to be safe. So if I go to custom tactic here, I press X on Xbox or square on PlayStation, it will come up with a list of custom tactics, and it would just say, let's say I hover over speed, it would say the speed in which attacks are put together. If I hover over passing, it would say affects passing distance and support from teammates. But each one has a different explanation. It's brief, of course, but it still helps just to get some sort of understanding of what they mean in game. Now let's take speed. Speed is basically the speed in which you want to change defense into attack. So let's say I pick the ball up on the edge of my box and I want to start an attack after retrieving the ball from my opponent. If I have high speed, my team will be pushing forward in order to assist my strikers and attacking players to just start an attack. If it's lower, my team they'll get out the pitch, but it'll be quite slow. Passing under build-up play is quite self-explanatory. So basically having higher passing would mean that the distance between your players are going to be larger, which means you want to play a long ball style of play. Lower passing would mean you'd like to have your players closer together. Perhaps more intricate passing, you want to play tiki-taka style of football, or just have an element of creating triangles between your players in order to have more passing assistance. Now, passing under chance creation is different. It's the amount of risk in pass decision and run support. This means that if my passing is higher, my midfielders will be making those late runs into the box in order to support the attacks. If it's lower, it means my midfielders will stay in position more, and if they do make a run, it will be quite rare. Crossing is basically how clustered I want my opposition's box to be. So my players will be bombarding the box if I have higher crossing, and if it's lower crossing, my team will be sitting outside of the box. Shooting is where if you have a higher figure, it means that your players will be making more runs towards the wing. If it's lower, they'll be making more narrow runs. On to defense, which is arguably the most important thing. Having higher pressure means your defensive line will step forward and be quite high up the pitch. Having lower pressure would mean that your defensive line will sit quite deep. Aggression is basically how high up the field you want the AI to assist you in pressing your opponent. So let's say my aggression is at 70, for instance. My team will be pressing my opponent as much as possible. The AI will be double pressing for me without me doing anything. If it's lower, they will be pressing for me, but it will be deeper into my own half rather than up in my opposition's box or in their half of the field. Team width is basically the higher the team width, the more spread out your defensive line will be, so the distance between your defenders. If it's lower, it means they're more compact and narrower, and it also deals with the through balls down the middle of the field. However, if it's too low, like for Arsenal, this is 33, you're susceptible to the through balls on the wing if someone's running in a formation with wingers or 4-4-2 or something like that. They have more space on the wings. There's also cover and offside trap for your defensive line setup. It's self-explanatory. If your defensive line is set as cover, if someone roams out of position, someone will drop into that space to cover that position. If it's offside trap, the defensive line is on one straight line, and I don't really use offside trap because if someone just does one through ball, usually on FIFA your defensive line is static, so they'll react quite late, and by then your opponent's already through on goal and they're dinked your goalie, so there's nothing you can do. And my mistake, I just realized I skipped build-up play and chance creation in terms of the positioning. So let's say on the build-up play, if my positioning is organized, it means that my defenders and midfielders will be stuck to their position as much as possible. If it's free form, they'll be running out of position in order to assist it to attack. So for example, your fullbacks, if you've always wondered why they're pushing upfield when you sort of stay back while attacking, it's most likely because your positioning is on free form under the build-up play option. Now, positioning under chance creation is different, however. It's based upon your strikers and your attacking players. So if I have it as organized, it's pretty much one-dimensional attacking football. They stick to their position. My strikers play strike, my wingers play wing. etc. If I change it to freeform, however, my strikers, you can find them out on the wing. You can find my winger up in strike. My attacking mid might be in strike as well. One of the strikers might drop into attacking mid. It kind of adds a different element to your attack. It gives your opponent something else to think about, because maybe they're thinking, oh, they can outmark Ronaldo because he's on his right foot in right strike. However, if your attacking mid drifts into right strike and it's Del Piero, for example, they could run the risk of marking out that right foot, but Del Piero has the 5-star weak foot to cut inside and finesse it across goal. Now let's get back into Ultimate Team, where I can show you my top 5 formations and also the custom tactics and instructions associated with them.
Coming in at number 5 is the 4-4-2 second variation. I use it over the normal variation just because I like to have the CDMs, they're closer to my defense and offer that stability rather than centre midfielders. And the normal variation a lot of people use because pros like Shells, Kurtz, Dragon, they dominate with this formation. I believe Shells went like 200 plus games unbeaten whilst using the normal variation. And yeah, the custom tactics to go along with this formation, for me, I actually leave everything the same. The only difference with this formation is that I changed the player instructions to stay back while attacking on both of the fullbacks. And one striker had to stay central, get in behind and press the back line, whilst the other striker stays central, gets in behind, has aggressive interceptions and also cuts the passing lanes. The 4-2-3-1 is up next, and it is arguably the most popular formation to use on this game. I just don't really like it anymore because ever since a couple of patches ago, I'd say it's about 5 or 6 weeks ago now, the left attacking mids and right attacking mids don't really contribute to the play as of much. They just seem to wander around near the halfway line on the side of the field, and they don't do much to assist my central attacking mid and my striker in scoring goals. But it's still a viable formation in keeping possession of the ball, and also defensively it's solid. It's fantastic at that. But the custom tactics that I do use with this formation, we up the speed to 60. We keep the passing the same and the positioning as organised. We also keep everything under chance creation the same, apart from positioning, we change it to freeform. The pressure we up to 65, whilst also upping the aggression to 60 and the team width to 60, and we also keep the defensive line as cover. The instructions that we do use for this formation, we have my fullbacks to stay back while attacking. One CDM is set to cut passing lanes and stay back while attacking, whilst the other one is set to just stay back while attacking. I used to have him on man mark, but if my opponent has his striker set to drift wide, he would follow the run and it would leave a gaping hole in the centre of my midfield, so I just thought I'll just leave it as balanced, and it's been working ever since. All my attacking mids are set to stay forward and get into the box for crosses, and my striker is set to stay central, get in behind and also press the back line. Coming in number 3 is the 4-1-2-1-2 second variation, otherwise known as the narrow formation. Fantastic going forward, defensively can be a bit frail, but it's still a fantastic option to use on Ultimate Team. Now the custom tactics that we do use for this formation, we have the speed all the way up at 65 whilst lowering the passing to 40. We also change the positioning to freeform. Chance creation, we up the passing to 60, the crossing to 70, and also lower the shooting to 35. We keep the positioning as organised, but this is where it gets crazy with this formation. The pressure goes all the way up to 70, and the aggression joins it at 80 in fact, even higher, and the team width is at 67. Now, this formation I use to squeeze my opponents in. I don't really give them a lot of time to breathe, as you'll be able to tell by the custom tactics. I'm attacking them as soon as I lose the ball. I want to retrieve it as soon as possible, and these custom tactics assist me in doing so. Now, player instructions wise, we have stay back while attacking on both of the fullbacks, as you might have guessed by now. We have just normal stay back while attacking. We do not touch the defensive behaviour for my defensive midfielder. For the support on crosses, we have both my right centre mid and my left centre mid to stay on the edge of the box. For my attacking mid, we have him set to stay forward, get into the box for crosses. And for one of my strikers, it's stay central, get in behind and press the back line, whilst the other one stay central, gets in behind, aggressive interception, and also cuts passing lanes. Number 2 might come as a bit as a surprise because not many people use this formation. It's quite defensive, and it's the 4-2-3-1 second variation. It's difficult to attack, but if you know how to use this formation, if you've used it for quite some time, you understand that there are certain ways to attack with this formation. But my custom tactics for this, we have the speed at 75 and the passing is set to 45 whilst the positioning stays as organised. The chance creation goes up to 60, the crossing goes down to 40, and the shooting goes up to 65, and we change the positioning to freeform. We also keep everything under defence the exact same as it comes. Now for player instructions, we have our fullbacks to stay back while attacking. One CDM is set to cut passing lanes and stay back, whilst the other one is just set to stay back. We do not touch the right mid or the left midfield, we leave them as they come, and the central attacking mid is set to stay forward and get into the box for crosses, and the striker is stay central, get in behind and press the back line. Number 1 on this list is the 4-4-1-1 formation. You rarely ever see this, and to be honest, I understand why most people want to use the meta formations like 4-1-2-1-2 second variation or 4-2-3-1. But honestly, don't sleep on this formation. It's fantastic. It's a bit of a hybrid between the 4-2-3-1 number 2 and the 4-4-2, because you have the centre forward instead of a striker in a 4-4-2, and that centre forward helps to bridge the gap between the midfielders and the striker, and it just helps to link up the play, and it also contributes to the goals. And in regards to a 4-2-3-1, you have the centre mid instead of a CDM, and you also have a centre forward rather than an attacking mid, and those are the only differences. The custom tactics that we do use for this formation: we up the speed to 60 and we keep the passing at 50. We also keep the positioning as organised. We up the crossing to 55 and the shooting to 60 and change the positioning to freeform, and we do not touch anything for the defensive aspects under the custom tactics. And it just works wonders for me. The player instructions though, you might have guessed it, you know what's happening. The fullback stay back while attacking, centre mids to stay back while attacking, centre forward stay central, get in behind and press the back line, and the same thing for our striker. Now, I just want to say, just because these custom tactics work for me, there's no guarantees they're going to work for you. They're not going to give you those extra 15 wins you need, or whatever amount of wins you need to get into the top 100 or whatever you're aiming for. But they do help to complement the style of FIFA I play and I guess the way I defend and the way I want to attack. So hopefully they do work out for you. There's a lot of different options that you can run. You don't necessarily have to run the custom tactics that are specific to this formation. You could try out these custom tactics with a 4-1-2-1-2 too if they don't work for you, and maybe just try out different things. But those are my custom tactics. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you on the next video.